friends, this is the MSR WhisperLite Universal. Now some of you might be wondering about this stove, and you might be wondering, you know, what's so popular about this. This stove, let me first start off by saying I'm a huge MSR fan. I've had the old model WhisperLite stove for a lot of years. You know, in fact, I have it in its bag right here. I've had this stove at least 15 years. It's never let me down. It's been a great stove. Very easy to pack, very versatile, very solid. I've taken it on countless trips through the years. It's just been a great companion. This happens to be the old Shaker Jet model. This is not the international model, so this one, the only fuel that it could use was white gas. And you know, one of the cool features about these WhisperLite stoves is the fact that they burn liquid fuel. Now you're probably wondering, you know, what's so cool about burning liquid fuel? Well, the thing that I would say about burning liquid fuel that makes these stoves so cool is the fact that liquid fuel, you know, at high altitudes and real cold temperatures, liquid fuel performs very well in the field. It's a very good fuel to use. But you know, and let's not get mistaken here. I'm not happy at all with this stove. This stove I still use. It still works great. I've never had an issue with it. But it's limited to only one type of fuel. It's limited to white gas. Now I have actually burned gasoline in this stove. I know you're probably not supposed to, but I have, and it worked fine. Never had an issue. But I wanted to upgrade to something that's a little more, that has a little more features. So I've been looking at this MSR WhisperLite Universal. And I think I found something that's, I'm not going to say going to replace this, but I think I've found something that I'm really going to enjoy. So let's go ahead and move this old one out of the way, move it to the back a little bit. We'll put that liquid fuel back there. And let me explain one more thing about this. You can see here on the box that this stove supports ISO Pro fuel. This is a ISO Pro. It's a butane slash, oh gosh, what's that other gas? It's two different gases, I believe. But this fuel works really well. And this stove not only will burn the liquid fuel like the old WhisperLite, but it'll also burn these ISO Pro fuel canisters. And another thing, you can see in the picture here that they have the fuel canister pointed upside down, and that was so that the fuel could actually operate with these canisters at a high altitude in cold weather and still perform fairly well. So I'm going to set that back there, and let's go ahead and unbox this stove here. So let's take a look. The stove comes in a very nice box. When I reach in, I pull out a bag, and the box is empty. So that's everything that is in that box is inside of this bag. So let me move that box back there. Let's take a look and see what's inside this stuff sack. Now, this old stuff sack that I've had, you know, it's still in great shape. This is the old one. I keep the fuel plug to my fuel canister on the end of the string there. You can see that it looks like they're still using the same kind of string that they used a long time ago. Same kind of button fastener here. So the stuff sack looks almost identical. Let's take a look. So when I open the stuff sack, there's a couple things that I noticed. Right here is the aluminum wind reflector. This basically goes around the stove when it's set up, and it keeps the wind from affecting your flame. This is a round piece of aluminum, and this is the heat deflector. This goes down on the ground so that you can set your stove on top of it, and that'll reflect heat upwards. Here is the instruction manual, sealed in a nice little plastic piece. Let's move inside a little more. Let's take a look at the pump. Wow. Okay folks, I apologize for that. That noise that you heard, that was my air compressor kicking on. So I'm taking a look at the pump here. This pump is considerably different than the old pump. It's quite a bit different. It looks totally different. I'm trying to figure out how this pump works. You know, if I pull out the old pump to my old stove, kind of comparing it to the new one here. This is my old pump. You can see that the new one appears to have more brass on it, and it appears to be just a little bit different in the way that it's set up. One thing I'm noticing right off the bat is that it has this nice little fuel filter on it, and this valve, it folds down. It's kind of a cool feature, this old valve, you know. But the old pump, it's one of the cool things about these old pumps is you can give them a half a click and the old pump will come out, and then you can lubricate this leather ring inside with some Vaseline, or if you're in the field you can spit on it. It'll basically bring this pump back to life. Now let's take a look at this new one. I'm kind of wondering about that feature, about the ability to take this pump out. Kind of twisting it. I don't know if there's a way to take this pump out. I'm going to have to read my owner's manual. Pump feels good though. I'll look at that later. The next thing I'm pulling out is this black piece of plastic. Now, if I'm understanding this correctly, this black piece of plastic, I don't know if it goes this way. I don't know quite how this goes. This is my first time seeing this stove. I'm not sure how this thing sits on there, but look at the picture here. We'll figure that out too. But apparently this is the piece of plastic that holds that fuel canister in upside down mode. There's the actual stove itself. Now there's a little pocket inside this pouch. Let's take a look and see what's in there. Wow. There's a little adapter. Apparently this is the adapter for the liquid fuel. That's the adapter that goes to the pump. And yes, you can see that the stove hose on it has the connector for the ISOPRO fuel. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else is in there. There's something else in there, I'm not sure. Looks like a small maintenance kit possibly. There's a tool. There's some lubricant for the pump, I'm guessing. And there's looks like 3 O-rings and 2 jets. And I'm assuming that those 2 jets, one is probably for the kerosene, one of them is probably for white gas, and I'm guessing there's a 3rd jet in the stove right now that is for the ISOPRO fuel. Now it's got a big tag on it. Warning, use only an MSR fuel bottle. Read instructions carefully and follow all operating procedures. Okay, you see that little label? Let's put that right there. There's another little thing here. What does this say? For outdoor use only. Carbon monoxide hazard. Gives you a little bit of instructions as to filling your fuel bottle, how to light the stove, things of that nature. I don't think that I want that on my cable there, so I'm going to find a little pair of cutters. Cut that tag off. I don't want that on there. So we'll set that aside with the instructions. Now what do we have here on the bottom? So there's the wick. Okay, what does this say? The stove is factory configured for canister fuels. To burn other fuels, both the jet. So it basically tells you the 3 jets. You have the UC jet, that's for isopro and it's already installed. UG is for white gas and unleaded auto gas. UK is for kerosene. So I'm guessing if it says K, we'll remind ourselves that that's for kerosene. And it's printed on the back in another language. So that's kind of cool. We'll put that with the owner's manual. Shaker jet. First thing I'm noticing is this thing is built pretty nice. The generator tube is a little larger. Now, granted, my old stove was not the international version. My old stove was just the standard WhisperLite. But you can see that the generator tubes they're a little bit different in size. The new one's a little larger, and it's kind of bent outward a little bit. Another thing I'm noticing right off the bat here is that inside, this is no longer a Phillips head, and that's probably because they're probably thinking we don't need to take that thing off. That's what I'm guessing anyway. And another thing, look at the length of the fuel line. Fuel line's a little longer from the new one. The legs are stamped stainless steel. Looks like the stove has a little more wider of a base. If I was to compare this to the old legs, you can see that they're slightly longer. Probably maybe a half of an inch bigger in diameter. The new pot supports are. Let me back this camera out. We'll take a look at these pot supports from a distance here. Here's the difference in size of pot supports. A little bit larger. The burner head looks like it's about the same diameter. The bottom of these legs have little feet on them, so it's looking like they'll be a little more stable. And again, it says right there on the packaging that it's set up to fire with these ISO Pros. Okay, when it comes to this fuel pump, I just read the directions here, and you can see that there's a cutout section here. To remove the fuel pump, you have to align. There's these little numbers. Hopefully you can see this on the camera. There's these little numbers right here. It says 1, a line here. So you basically line that up to flush with this area here and twist it. That's how you take this off. Now automatically I can see that this cup is rubber. Now to be honest with you, I don't know if I like that or not, because the old cup in the old pump was leather. See, this is the old pump here. That was leather, and that worked really well. Maybe this is rubber, maybe this is something newer, and maybe it's going to work better. I guess we'll just see over time. All I can say is that this leather and this old pump, I've been using it probably 15 years. So everything else kind of looks the same. Looks like you might need a flathead screwdriver to take this. I'm guessing there's a ball and a spring in there. And same thing here, you would stick that in there and rotate it outward. So putting this back, there's some little grooves. You can see they're corresponding right here where my middle finger is, and then on the other side here, little grooves. Just kind of line that baby up, and those kind of pop in. says respect fire on it. That's kind of cool. Well, everybody, I want to say thank you for watching the unboxing today on this MSR WhisperLite Universal. I hope you found some good, useful information out of this video. Please feel free, as always, to like, share, subscribe, thumbs up on these videos. And as always, have a beautiful day. Now stay tuned. I'm going to be firing this baby up pretty soon, so let's take a look and see what it looks like in action. We'll see you later.